Hi, hello, it's me, Julian Greystoke, author of fantasy romance The Wolf and the Hawk, the sequel to which we are going to be talking about a little bit. Some of you may be familiar with The Wolf and the Hawk. I published it last year, and I am hoping, fingers all the way crossed, to publish the sequel, which is currently titled Dragonfly, by the end of this year. We'll see if I can succeed at that. I think I can get close. I'm just not positive all of the stars will align before the year rolls over. If you want to know more details about how that writing process is going, you can check me out over on Patreon, where I tend to be more candid with my viewers about my writing process and getting a little bit more nitty-gritty with it. But I figured it would be nice of me to tell all of you regular viewers, and also any patrons who might be here watching this as well, a little bit more about the sequel to The Wolf and the Hawk. If you're unfamiliar, The Wolf and the Hawk is, like I said, a fantasy romance, so there's a little kissin' and a little killin'. It's basically two worlds colliding when a warrior woman named Rayoni from the nomadic tribe the Vern is pledged in marriage to Xander of Ged, Ged being a small farming kingdom. When she gets there, she expects to be his war queen, but instead she finds that he wants nothing to do with her, and everything just kind of goes from there. As it is a romance, I am reasonably certain that you can guess that the main couple does indeed get together in the end. I know, I was shocked as well. What a earth-shattering spoiler. A romance story that ends up with the main couple together? Shooketh. Anyway, their togetherness brings forth some children, and those children are going to be the main characters of the next books in the series. This one is actually going to star the third-born child of Xander and Rayoni's. How many daughters did I even give them? Oh my gosh, I have to check my notes. 4 daughters. I gave them 4. There are 9 kingdoms and 4 daughters. Nigel is here. The reason I didn't remember is because the other sisters only really come up at the beginning of the book. We are following Maren, who is the third-born, and she actually leaves home pretty shortly after the book begins to go to the seaside kingdom of Vael, where there are some shenanigans going down, a bit of a mystery to solve, a cute boy to fall in love with, you know the drill. And I thought it would be fun to introduce you to some of the characters that you will be encountering in Dragonfly. I don't have fancy portraits to show you like some of the bigger name author tubers do, unfortunately. I just can't justify spending money for that, and I could draw them myself, but I'm also incredibly busy and lazy at the same time. But let's just go through, meet some of these characters, and just talk a little bit about them, just kind of hang out. Just hang out. I just ate lunch. Nigel is here. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're just gonna chill together. So obviously the main character is Maren, as we discussed, the third child of Rayoni and Xander. Why am I not starting with their firstborn? That would be smart, and we have established that I am not smart around here. Look, Maren's story was the first one I had the idea for, so we're going with it, okay? Maren is the smallest of her siblings. All of her sisters wound up kind of looking like the Vern. The Vern people are tall and well-built and athletic, and Maren ended up kind of short and skinny, and so she is embarrassed about that. And she also just doesn't feel like she has a place at home, and she wants to find her place in the world. She's kind of got that middle child syndrome going on where she's like, I don't like anything here, I just want to leave. So she gets the opportunity to go to the seaside village of Vael. She jumps on it. Maren is also very driven. She is determined to succeed. She's willing to learn. Of course, in the learning process, she will be making mistakes. She's a little bit naive sometimes, and also she struggles a little bit with being a child of two worlds, as she is both Vern and Getty, and she wonders what that means for her, and whether she should be fearsome like a Vern or reasonable but a little bit repressed like a Getty. The next character we're going to talk about is Kaina, her mentor character. I love Kaina. I had mentioned it before, but Maren goes to Vael to become the apprentice horse master, but when she gets there, she finds out that her master, Kaina, is not only the horse master, but also the spy master, which leads to some serious shenanigans. Kaina is, I'm trying to think of a way to describe her. She's intelligent, but not emotionally intelligent. if that makes sense. Kaina is incredibly driven, and she's always kind of used to doing her own thing, and so sometimes she forgets to like include Maren, or she maybe pushes Maren a little bit too hard. Kinda does lack a little bit of emotional intelligence. But she is ultimately also willing to admit if she is wrong, and she does care a lot. She can make people see her the way she wants people to see her instead of who she really is. Next we have Tristan and Atos, who are the twin brothers of this kingdom. They are the princes. Atos is the slightly elder, so he is going to become king one day. Currently, Vael is a queendom, but he is going to become king. And his brother Tristan is our romantic interest for this story. There are things about Tristan I don't want to reveal because I want to get my readers like authentic reactions when they find out things about him, but I will tell you that Tristan is on the asexual spectrum, so that's going to be interesting. Tristan is incredibly independent, and he doesn't really like responsibility, and he just wants to do what he wants to do. He has absolutely no interest in ruling the kingdom, so if Atos died, Tristan would just implode. He drives his parents crazy. He endangers himself and others a lot. If anyone will go along with him, he will probably put their life in danger, but they'll have a great time doing it. So he's kind of my chaotic baby boy. Atos, who you do see a bit less of, is the dutiful one who's going to be king. He has his own ways of being rebellious, but he's a lot more like put together than his brother. Next character is Tully. Tully is the best friend character. She befriends Maren. Tully is incredibly hardworking. She's intelligent. She's savvy. She knows the city and understands the workings of things very well. She's also a take charge kind of person, so if nobody's taking charge, Tully will take charge. But she's also so kind. Like, that's the thing about Tully, is like, she could hold a grudge, but she won't. And that's definitely something that I like about Tully. She has a lot in common with a friend of mine, so that's really kind of special, is like occasionally elements of my friends will find their way into characters. That's basically the main cast. There are a few side characters that do get a little bit more screen time. There is Thomas, who is the master of the watch, which is the police force in the city. Bit of an ass. Of course, there is the queen, and we deal a little bit with her. She is very in charge and competent and regal, and you don't fuck with her. There's Roland, the harbor master, and there's Hoban, who is a character who gets introduced a little bit later in the story, and I'm not going to tell you too much about because that's kind of a spoiler. Also, of course, I can't forget the animal characters. Storm the horse was one of people's favorite characters in The Wolf and the Hawk, so you know I gotta have animal characters in this one. Maren's horse is named Shadow, and she has a really close relationship with Shadow as well. Shadow is a mare, and Shadow is kind of also a child of both worlds, as she is a crossbreed between one of the big scary Vern horses and one of the more mild-mannered Geddy horses. Shadow, unlike Storm, is very sweet and incredibly loyal, and like would die for Maren in a heartbeat. She's ride or die. Can you say that about a horse? And of course, you know I have ferrets on my shirt and in this book. I wanted to put ferrets in one of my books, and this one was perfect. I was calling them Lock, Stock, and Barrel, but just kind of names that I came up with right away, but actually that doesn't work in my world because that refers to firearms, and there aren't any firearms in my world. So they have been renamed, but there's 3 ferrets, and they get to have a little bit of a role in the story, and so that's very fun. So those are all of the main key players in Dragonfly. There are more side characters, but they're so minor that it's not really, really worth introducing them necessarily. I am hopeful, hope that I am ready for beta readers this summer, so keep an eye on my channel if you're interested in beta reading Dragonfly. You do not have to have read The Wolf and the Hawk to read Dragonfly. At least that's my hope. I would like all of these, at least maybe until the last one. The last one might be a little difficult, but I would like all of these to be able to stand alone as their own stories. So I'm hoping that you do not have to have read Wolf and the Hawk to enjoy Dragonfly, but will you probably enjoy it more if you have read The Wolf and the Hawk? Yes. However, as you might expect, there are major spoilers in Dragonfly for The Wolf and the Hawk. And no, I'm not counting the fact that the main couple gets together as one of those spoilers. There are other spoilers that will 100% be spoiled if you read Dragonfly first. And you have time. If you want to read The Wolf and the Hawk, it's available now on Amazon in 3 different forms. So you've got your options for reading that if you want to before I am ready for beta readers for Dragonfly. And like I said, I will be announcing it here on the channel and pretty much everywhere. Speaking of which, my social media is all in the doobly-doo, so if you want to keep an eye on things anywhere else, then check out all of those. I post new videos at least twice weekly, and like I said, I do have a Patreon where you can support me. Patrons help me pay to self-publish my books because self-publishing, at least the correct way, is expensive. You have to pay for cover, you have to pay for editing. There's a lot to pay for. You have to pay for an audiobook if you want one. Everything comes out of your pocket when you are self-publishing. So patrons help me afford to self-publish my books. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye! It has come to my attention that there may be a few people left in the world who do not know who my patrons are, and this will not stand. My patrons are Belle, Anne-Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, Anna W., Anna C., Light Julie, O.S., Lennox, Kit, Hayden Glade, and Persephone. There, consider yourselves educated on the best people in the whole world. You're welcome. I am the writer of fictions. I am the heart that you call home. And I've written pages upon pages, trying to rid you from my bones.